Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the Future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor Podcast. Rockabye. Yeah, welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Cy.
I'm Veronica, and we're in our feelings.
And we're in our feelings on episode 126. Yeah. Had to start it off with that vibe.
A vibe, yeah, that's a vibe indeed. That is like wow.
What'd you think? I feel like I
forgot about that song.
Right? That's what this show's all about. To start you off with something you're like, ooh, that one is good. I know there's a lot of people out there like, I love this song. But maybe that's just me. But yeah, no, I really became a fan of country music, and then started like becoming a fan of Sam Hunt, and realized that Sam Hunt's style of singing is actually like that, where you just kind of talk over like the verses and then get into some beautiful like ballad chorus or something like that. So this guy was the original Sam Hunt. Yeah, yo V, what's going on? What's been going on in your life? How are you?
You know, I'm tired.
Tired? Yeah, it's a little gloomy today, so it's got that vibe right now.
It is that is the vibe. The song kind of carried along with a kind of slower, tired vibe. What have I got going on?
Hey, wake up. We got a show to do right now.
I know. I had a pretty busy past weekend, actually. A lot of these Leo birthdays that I've been celebrating. We had Lexa's birthday, which we shouted her out last week. She had a little girls' night. We drank a lot of wine. We ate some cheesecake. She
loves cheesecake.
She loves cheesecake.
No, like capital L. Yeah, the other night she apparently she didn't get to eat any that night, and then I was with her like next day, and she was like going in on that cheesecake. So
yeah,
she's like, I love cheesecake.
I think I was one of the only people who actually ate some of the cheesecake. But like I had fully come to that night without eating dinner. So like we had a bunch of like snacks and desserts and things. And I was like, I'm going ham on this stuff. Like, so you guys can I don't feel uncomfortable. You know how like when you're at some parties or get-togethers, like you don't want to be like the first one to grab food, or you don't want to be like the whatever. And I was like, I'm fine with you guys. Like, I'm going to be out here. I'm grabbing the snacks. I'm grabbing the food. Like, you don't want me hangry. You just don't. Like,
I'm weird because like I like to like let other people get their food first. I don't like to look like the fat ass that's running over to the burgers.
No, that's usually that's what I'm saying. That's usually how I am.
Oh,
and
okay,
that's
okay.
like,
but mine was like when I was a kid, we went out like after like we did a play, like our whole play went out for like pizza, like afterwards. What is it called? Like a rap party or whatever. And the whole like I'm in the middle of the table because I'm popular, but the pizza gets
wow, and humble,
but yeah, so I'm sitting in the middle of the table and the pizza comes out, and we're like 15, 16-year-old like teens and stuff, so it's just like pizza
metabolism is cranking.
But you know how much I love pizza, and the self-control to just let it just sit there and let everyone grab a slice, and I'll be like, I'll get my slice or two once it's like the dust settles. But no, my friend TJ pulls like a slice. I remember who did it. My friend TJ pulls a slice right there from the right of me, and pulls a slice, and this like lava piece of cheese slips right off of the slice onto my arm that I still like. I think I just got covered up, but yeah, dude, it bubbled up, and I remember it being like, this is what I get for letting people eat pizza before me. So
I feel like a second-degree burn.
Yeah, now not only do I let people go first, but I let my food cool down. So,
wow,
that shit
great life lessons.
All right. But what else happened this weekend for you?
I saw you. We got brunch. You paid for my brunch, which I'm always a fan of.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta treat your sweethearts,
yeah, because as I just said, I get hangry. Sometimes you're just like, let's appease.
Yeah, just feed the beast. Feed the beast.
Literally.
Yeah.
And then we had a little going away dinner for my friend Amanda, who got a new job in Nashville.
I don't even know Amanda, but I feel like I love her.
Yeah, she's great. So we're excited for her.
I just like that whole little crew. Like, you guys are like tight,
Yeah, we are. We're like the girls group. We called ourselves like the Friday night supper club because we used to like do Friday night
Always
suppers.
got a name, dude. That's hilarious. Oh man.
But then also, as I had shouted out last week, it was Teg's, my friend Teg's birthday, and so like hung out with him and some of that friend group. And then I hung out with my friend Knip. We had like a little Sunday fun day at his pool because our friend Garrett has these frozen drink machines, and so he made some frosé and some frozen margs. And yeah, I was pretty busy. I was like back to back busy, and I feel like I'm still just like exhausted because I stayed up late last night to watch the Blackhawks break my heart because they lost in the game that could have kept them in their series. So I've just been reminded why sports hurt me, and they're going to continue to hurt me for the rest of 2020. But,
Wow.
know.
Yeah, that's a real vibe. This is probably like, the first time in a while that I did things on a weekend. Saturday, you guys had stayed up pretty late. It was supposed to be just a girls' night with you and Lexa, but you guys ended up kind of going in way past your bedtime.
Yeah.
She made it so far past because, like, you know how, like, the scooters, like, turn off at 9 p.m. and come back on, like, at 4 a.m.? She's like, I rode a scooter last night, and I tried to ride a scooter back later on that night. It was only, like, 10. And it was like, oh, the scooters turned back on at 4 a.m. So she caught the scooters at 4 a.m. So that's
I
that's
didn't
when
know that they
turned
turned back on at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so she like woke up the next day and she was like, you want to go grab brunch? At which point that's when we met up with you. And that was fun. Just I haven't done brunch in a while. And then I had the day with Lexa. Actually, it was kind of like my birthday day with her. And we kind of just like did fun stuff around Atlanta. Like we hopped on scooters. I went to Pour. You been to Pour? Or isn't that where your roommate works?
Yes, I have been to Port.
She wasn't working, but
No, she wasn't because she was out of town.
Yeah, I've been seeing those pics. Fire. But yeah, no. So I was at Pour, and then where else was I at? And then we went to go get tattoos. That was pretty crazy. So I got this Back to the Future tat. It's a DeLorean.
I actually really like it. Like, so how did you already have like that as an idea, or like how?
So
because I really like that style.
You know how I like follow Instagram hashtags and stuff? Like I just kind of was like looking at like Back to the Future tats. Like, Back to the Future is like my favorite movie, but I don't want to just have like something corny on me. Like maybe the flux capacitor would be kind of cool, but I kind of wanted the DeLorean, but I didn't want it to be like this detailed thing, so it kind of just looks like the outline. It's very like kind of
really
clip
cool.
arty.
I really like it. Like that's the kind of style of tattoos that I like.
Thank you. And yeah, I was gonna do it like kind of facing this way, like down, but the guy was like, I think it would look better like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, because
You're right.
it would not have fit the right way. I think if you put it like under your elbow crease, like
right,
or like parallel with it, I think it looks better perpendicular.
But yeah, now I'm just dealing with the itch, which is really ridiculous, but it's cool that I can just go into tattoo shops and get tatted now. You know what I'm saying? I could always do it, but now I'm doing it. So it was pretty cool, and it was not even my idea. Like Lexa was like, let's go get tatted. I was like, are you sure?
What did she get?
She got it's like a personal thing, or I don't want to put like her stuff out there, but she got a tattoo. It was like on her finger and stuff, but nothing crazy. Like even like the finger, like it could fade. Like they're like, yeah, this shit like kind of.
Oh yeah, those usually you're supposed to fade like.
But she's never had a tat, so you usually go with something small your first time. So yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I got this, and I was pretty happy with it. So that was it. And then I went swimming on Sunday with my trainer Caleb, and that was a really fun day. I ended up actually watching half of Hamilton, which was great. But after like chilling by the pool and stuff like that, you can't make it through the whole thing.
Hamilton.
We ended up watching the drunk history of it too with Homeboy. It was pretty good. So
love it.
So yeah, that was my weekend, but I guess we might as well get into something we like to call quick hits.
Hell yeah.
V, how are you in quick hits?
So our song of last week, just the song of still the internet right now, WAP. It broke some records. It was number 1 on the Billboard charts, and it's the first ever female rap collaboration in history to debut at number 1. And also it had 93 million US streams, which is the most for a song in its opening week in history.
Wow.
So
we'll give it a round of applause.
Yeah, the ladies got it done.
Good for them. I mean, for a song that's pretty vulgar, it made it pretty far. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Have you seen all the different versions that have come out throughout the last week? Have you seen Lardy B?
Yes, I think. Wait. Yes, I've seen.
Hers is
yeah,
like.
You say it.
What was hers? I forgot what the acronym for hers was, but it was like, oh, wings and pizza. That's what
Yes, there's that one, and then I've been seeing a lot of the people do stuff for like, okay, if the Kids Bop version would be like waffles and pancakes, and it's like
I saw the Kids Bop version would be an instrumental.
That's funny too, but I saw one where like a girl literally like went lyric by lyric and rewrote over, so it was like waffles and pancakes, and then I saw
That's ridiculous.
Barstool.
I can't even believe they would make kids sing these songs. That like,
oh please! I've listened as someone who used to babysit. I've listened to a ton of Kids Bop in my day, and like there's definitely different songs that they change stuff. Like I remember Sean Kingston's song that he says like
Suicidal.
"You make me like suicidal," like and whatever, and like they like I forget what they even changed it to, but it was like something. It was something hilariously different that like I remember. I'm like babysitting these kids and I'm like telling them and like or I wasn't telling them what it actually said, but I was like listening to it with them, and I just like I think I like choked on my water, and they're like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, great song."
What's it called? I also saw the one where it was like it was called Hard Ass Penis on Barstool.
Yes, I saw that one that Barstool had posted. I got it sent to me like 3 different times.
You'll have me in denial. In denial. What? I just looked up the lyrics, guys. So the internet is crazy. But yeah, so good for them. We got to talk about the Loverboy drop this past week. What happened with Drake and Nike?
So Drake has a collaboration with Nike. It's going to be CLB, Certified Lover Boy. And so, like, he has, like, a whole bunch, like, he has his own Nike by OVO, like, Air Force Ones. That actually looks sick. And then, like, a whole bunch of other stuff. And, like, the main thing that you reposted to your story, because it's very on brand for you, was, like, these jerseys that say, like, Lover Boy on the back.
Yes, this is an acronym that, has come back to bite me in the butt sometimes. But the Loverboy thing was something that, like, was put on me, It's just a thing where, like, you just kind of, like, get, like, caught up in romance and, like, that type of thing. You just like girls.
Relate, but yeah.
I wouldn't say Loverboy is, like a player or, like it's not like a F-boy or anything like that. But, like, Loverboy, what would you describe a Loverboy as?
A lover boy.
That's actually the episode I named, I think, from the one with my mom. The episode I had with my mom.
I think lover boy, I feel like, is someone who is a romantic, easily, like, falls into love or just the idea of love. Like, sometimes I think, like, you might not always be in love with, like, a person. You just, like, love the feeling is, like, what a lover boy can sometimes be.
See, it's funny that you say that because I was thinking about it. And it's, like, something that, like, it's just hard when you are a lover boy. You love the idea of being in a relationship. You love the idea of, like, having a girlfriend and all that stuff. But, you also it's a weird thing. Like, it's like you have this idea of things. So sometimes, like, you can get really caught up in a moment. You could really like, think you like somebody and, like, the feeling is mutual and stuff, and then the whole thing kind of falls apart. Like, I don't know. Lover boy usually is not somebody that, like, it's, like, settling down, I guess, because, they don't really, I don't know.
Like,
can you be a lover boy with one person?
Can have, like, I feel like lover boy can have, like, kind of, like, player streaks in them, but, like, they don't, like, I feel like they don't look at it like they're not always looking for, like, a partner. They're looking for, like, the feeling of being supported by a partner, or just, like, the feeling in general. Like, I always think about, like, I said this even to you before, like, I think about how in Hercules, Megara is like, okay, lover boy, or, like, whatever to Hercules, because, like, she always, like, kind of, like, brushed him off as just, like, being, like, more into, like, the feeling of being loved by people, or, like, being, like, around her, like, trying to woo her and, like, whatever. And it's like, that's kind of, like, what I've always, like, thought of lover boy, I guess.
He ends up with her at the end of that.
Yeah, he even gives away his god powers so he could be with, which I always think
Is that what we have to
bullshit.
do? Is that what we have to do,
Which
women?
I think I'm like, how come you couldn't give Megra some fucking like god powers? Like make her a demigod. Let's do it. Like
Obviously,
why
she
is
has
she
more
getting
power.
accepted?
She just like took the powers away from the most powerful guy.
I
So there's
know.
something in that, like, yo, protect that power. But speaking of Drake, his video that came out, speaking of God, it reminded me of like a God's Plan Part 2, the one with Little Dirk. I actually liked the video. The video was like really funny. It made me laugh twice. Like, I love that Drake, like,
Were you tallying your laughs? You're like, laugh number one.
the thing is, though, with Drake, you have to laugh. Like, when he takes himself too seriously, that's when I can't, like, with Drake. Like, because you're not, like, you're funny. Like, it's funny. Like, when he makes fun, there's a scene where, because he's, like, talks about, what is the song called? Like, Laugh Now, Cry Later, or something like that. That's the name of the song. And, so like he's crying in the song, and there's just like in the video it looks all like great, like that he's crying for the video. It's like part of the video he's saying about it, but in like there's a moment where like it's like and no, actually it's like this. It's like and like
There
his
you go.
his bodyguard comes in or something. And he's like, yo, dude, what are you doing? He's like, oh, dude, just like he's wiping the tears from his eyes and stuff. And he's like, yo, dude, you got a tissue? He's like, no, dude, why would I have a tissue? He's like, oh, it was just really funny. So if you haven't seen the new Drake video, it's pretty cool. And also he's like on the Nike campus, like, he's got Marshawn Lynch, if that's correct, I hope.
Yeah.
And then he also had who else in that video? A couple other
OBJ.
athletes.
Yeah, didn't he have like Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, and I guess, and it's really fucking cool because like, and
I know. I'm like, hang on, I'll just look it up. Just,
whatever,
like,
but it's not that important. This is not a sports podcast, but yeah, so
sports is so important to culture
for
in
sure.
general.
I mean, so important. It's non-existent right now. But so Drake's on this campus and he's like shopping around the Nike store. There's a point in the video where he has like all his shopping bags just like up to almost to the ceiling, like, and
Kevin Durant was in it.
Yeah. And so if you haven't seen the video, check it out. What's going on in the world of Ellen these days? She's still in the process of getting canceled.
So Ellen, there was an older tweet of hers that got resurfaced that was from 2009 that said, it said like, made an employee cry like a baby on today's show. Honestly, it felt good. And people are like, making a meme being all like, this didn't age well. And I guess she has recently fired.
I mean, I don't understand a time where that would have been okay.
Like when was that ever okay?
I don't understand
like,
these tweets. Like, when did they get like that's what's wrong with us. Like, if you guys let that tweet slip for years, that's what's wrong with us as a society. That's the timing difference between us and how much sanity we have. But continue.
So, executive producers Ed Glavin, Kevin LeMan, I'm probably totally butchering these last names, and co-executive producer Jonathan Norman all parted ways with the show, and that's like all amongst these like this investigation to this toxic work environment, everything like that. That means Twitch, who's the DJ, is now stepping up. He's been promoted to co-executive producer, which that's a jump. And she's been, yeah.
Yep, figured. I mean, changes have to be made.
He's an incredible dancer. I follow him and his beautiful wife and all their dancing. But,
yeah. Well, shoot. I mean, he's executive producer of her show now.
He's the co-executive producer
of what show?
Of Ellen, of her show. But like, I don't know. I don't exactly. So like I guess like the investigation has currently found no evidence of systemic racism on set, but like I guess Ellen has promised that she and the entire team will participate in some diversity and inclusion training seminars, which I'm like, okay.
Isn't that like what all companies need to do? Like,
I'm like, yeah, isn't that like, aren't we, don't we, haven't we,
yeah.
Aren't we, like,
Yikes.
What?
Goodness gracious. All right, what else we got?
All right. So right here, where we here in Atlanta, actually probably only a couple of miles from where both of us sit currently, Kanye West and Steve Harvey went to
Wait. Hold on. It's got to be something crazy. Where the heck did Steve Harvey and Kanye go, Veronica?
Chick-fil-A. What'd she order?
That was anticlimactic. I'm sorry, guys. But what happened at the Chick-fil-A with Kanye? You're just laughing at.
What'd she order and stuff like fish fillet? Chick-fil-A.
So I saw the video of him trying to get a video of him in a Chick-fil-A doing it, and no one knew the lyrics. Like, it was kind of embarrassing. Like, he was like, "All right, guys, everyone's screaming."
He was trying to sing like "Closed on Sundays" and stuff too, and whatever. But so I guess like
that song is not as big as he probably thinks it is.
It's not.
It was a moment.
Sorry, Kanye.
Yeah, it was a moment, but.
But so he was there with Steve Harvey, and I guess they met with the CEO of Chick-fil-A, Dan Cathy, and the vice president, Bubba Cathy. These are such Southern fucking names.
Bubba.
But Bubba Cathy. And,
Bubba Cathy. Cathy.
Yeah, is their last name.
Golly. All right.
Golly. And so, he tweeted a picture of Steve Harvey sitting there in their Chick-fil-A, and then he tweeted a video of, like, them saying grace, and, like, it's just, like, it's all part of his weird, like, very sporadic run for president still. So, yeah, I don't really know, like, what all he was talking to them about. I don't know if he's like trying to like, I'm sure they talked like religion or something. But everyone knows that Chick-fil-A.
Like, I don't understand like why this is like the stuff you choose to do with your time. Like if I was Kanye West, I wouldn't be going and talking to like the CEO of Chick-fil-A. I'd be like making music. What the hell's going on here? Or more clothes or whatever the hell you got to do.
With Steve Harvey, it's just like so bizarre. Like,
oh, they must have became friends on that episode of Family Feud.
Well, yeah, and he's always been like, yeah, I love Chick-fil-A, whatever.
No, he also loved Family Feud. Remember?
Yeah.
That's why he dragged his whole family there. But so later on we'll talk more about Miley. But what do we have in some quick hits news?
Miley. My girl, I love her with my whole heart. She did, a very smart marketing move, was on Call Her Daddy last week, and she made them push the Call Her Daddy episode to, Thursday midnight, which is the same time that her song premiered.
Do you think Miley listens to Call Her Daddy?
She was shown actually wearing a Call Her Daddy hat once, so potentially.
But the hat's one thing. The merch is cool. Like, I think the idea behind it is cool.
She says that at least like one of the guys like on her team or like whatever listens to Call Her Daddy, so she's heard it in some capacity. But it was actually a decent. I like some stuff like I already knew about her, but some stuff like she confirmed that she lost her virginity to Liam Hemsworth, who then she ended up marrying.
When she was 16.
Yeah, when she was 16. Well, she lost her virginity to a guy at that age, and she had like said that she had hooked up with girls prior, which like all stems back to also when she did her little talk show, her Instagram live talk show that she was doing during earlier parts of quarantine.
But wasn't it? Did she say that she lost her virginity at 16, but ended up marrying that guy?
Yeah. So to Liam. Yeah.
Yeah. How old was Liam then?
He was probably maybe. I don't know, probably like 18 maybe.
Really? They're only 2 years apart?
I don't think they're that far apart. I could look it up, but like, because it was on the set of Last Song. I know, because I watched that movie. Love that movie. Let's see, Liam Hemsworth. What is his age?
They're 2 years, 10 months, and 10 days older. Dude, you're like good at this shit. Holy shit.
I know. I was like, I'm pretty sure he was 18 at the time.
Yep. Not good.
But yeah.
Not good, like, when you're, like, I mean, when you're a normal person, it's fine, but when you, like, I'm sure he's all like, Miley, did you have to say that?
I know, well, and, like, she didn't, like, she didn't explicitly say his name, but, like, she was like, and then I ended up marrying him. We're like, who else could it be?
Oh, dude, and mystery solved. Like, wait, who could it, no, we don't have to do that for this one. Yo, but, speaking of another one, did you see the Barstool one about Olivia Munn?
What about Olivia? I
Like
love Olivia.
she went on, I think, like Whitney Cummings'
She went on Whitney
podcast.
Cummings' podcast. Yeah.
And she was talking about how, like, I don't know, she was talking about her sex life with someone she had, and they all thought it was Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah, because she was talking about like how she like faked it or like whatever with him, and she's like, and everyone's like giving. Yeah, I saw that honestly on Barstool Chicago because like Bears fans hate Aaron Rodgers because he plays for the Packers, which are enemies. So like everyone's like, like
All right,
whatever.
well, why do girls fake? Why do they have to fake it for us?
Yeah, your guys' egos.
Really?
Yeah.
Like if you like.
I don't like. I mean, like I don't ever recommend to women to do that, TBH, because like I think think men should be let known when they're not doing a good job. But I mean, sometimes, you know, I know there's been girls, I mean, girls talk about this all the time, but it's like, you know, sometimes if it's just like getting to a point where like, this isn't working, you might just like, so that it ends. Like,
This isn't working. I get it. You get it? All right, anyways. Well, yeah, I mean, so Miley, she gave some tea up. Well, what's going on with you know, the Miley Cyrus of my day?
Britney, save Britney. So, there's been some new developments that she is requesting that her father is not the sole conservator.
It's her sister, isn't it?
It's her dad.
I thought her sister's like.
No, it's her dad. Her dad's name is Jamie.
Oh. Oh, okay.
That's why her sister's name is Jamie Lynn.
That's confusing. All right, well.
Because her mom's name, I think, is Lynn. But you know, very creative names. But so she
I never
wants,
thought
you know,
that like you know how I have that Jamie Lynn Spears shirt?
Yeah.
It's like people like love it. It's like, who is that? Or is that a Jamie Lynn Spears shirt?
Because it's just so kitschy. It's weird.
So random. I know, but that's why I love it.
Exactly. That's why people love it as well.
Cool.
Plus, like, everyone can probably sing, like, the Zoe 101 theme song.
No, not me. I honestly have I met her. I met her, like, twice. So it was like,
if you wanna wait.
I was like, Jamie, I'm like, is that your shirt, your merch? She was like, yeah. I was like, that shirt is fire. I know, I called her Jamie because she was like, I didn't call her Jamie Lynn. I was like, Jamie Lynn, actually. Yes, I had to call her that. Jamie Lynn, is that your merch? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that shirt is fire. She's like, do you want one? I was like, would I ever? And then I wore it forever, so I'm still wearing it. But it's sad because it's starting to, like, you know, when that like shit like gets old and it starts cracking, and so she's not as beautiful as she used to be. But I mean, on my shirt, in real life, I'm sure she's still beautiful. But
cut it off too. Do you have to always cut all your shirts?
Yeah, I do. Well, now that I got these tattoos, hell yeah.
It's still your tattoos
and these
don't
muscles.
all go up to... Oh wow.
All right. Well, so she's requesting that her dad be removed as her permanent conservator.
Yeah, and she wants Jodie Montgomery, who I guess actually like has had that role, like, and is she is someone who's a little bit more corporate fiduciary. I don't know what that means. Appointed to serve in this role so that it's not just her dad, who obviously, like, her parents, her dad, and whatever have been like pushing her since she was a young kid. She was, you know, Mickey Mouse Club, then a teen star, then a whatever. She like wants someone who's a little bit more removed from that situation to hold that role to help with all those things. So
isn't it weird that I think like a conservator should be like spread between like 3 people? It shouldn't be on just one person. Like, it should be like, we need at least 2 of you guys to sign off on this, like, or like, you know, I don't know. Even that kind of sounds a little sketchy, but at least it makes it a little bit more fair, I guess, or playing field for her.
Yeah,
but
so I guess there will be.
Do you think it's because of this whole Free Britney thing? Do you think like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of that is, but I fully believe that like she's been under kind of like control in that situation. Like, I believe that there is something going on there.
Have you ever seen, well, back in the day on Austin Powers, she made a cameo as a fembot. So she was
yeah.
that's like kind of like, she's actually a fembot now, it seems like.
Yikes.
Um,
Yikes.
well, do we have anything else with quick hits?
Yeah, Chrissy Teigen, actually, I guess her last name should be pronounced Teigen, and John Legend are expecting their third child. And then Blackpink, well-known K-pop girl group, is doing a collab with Selena Gomez,
Blackpink
which
is
is
a sick ass name.
Blackpink. They have actually some really good music. You should check them out. I love Blackpink.
I've heard. I think I have one song. The thing is, like, I'm never like, oh, I love this one song. Who is this? Like, I'm like, oh, I just love this song. And then eventually someone's like, have you heard of Blackpink? And I'm like, that looks like something I see across my Spotify sometimes. And I usually have a song by them. But I do love me some K-pop. You know what I mean? So, well, yo, what made you go yikes this week, V? What's something that, like, made you go yikes? I know a couple things that made me go yikes, but, like, you.
I went yikes because, Georgia, we're number one now. We're most likely the state that you're most likely to be exposed to coronavirus. We've been having the most increases in cases. Florida, we pushed Florida out of the way.
Give it up, Georgia.
So yeah, that's not great for us. That doesn't make me feel great. I sent this.
You've been seeing the things like about like the the huge pool party over in China, in Wuhan.
I know. Well, they have actually they've actively gotten rid of it. So they're okay. That's like the funny thing. I was joking with people that they're like, I was saying a global pandemic. I'm like, yeah, but we're the only country left that's still effing up. So
yeah, I don't know what to say here. But yikes, might fill the void. This week.
Well, because there was also the videos of the college up in Dahlonega, Georgia, a little bit north of Atlanta, that went viral of these kids back at college having a full block party, wall to wall people.
So what, are we gonna arrest them?
There is some colleges that are looking to do that they're if they come upon parties and things like that have more than 10 people or whatever, they are gonna arrest people.
Until when?
Huh?
Until when? When are we gonna arrest people until
I don't know.
No parties till a vaccine?
I mean, there's so many colleges have released a lot of different guidelines. You have to, UNC Chapel Hill, they went to doing in-person classes to pulling those all back to being online after they had so many cases in a week span. That's even happening with high schools here in Atlanta and in Georgia in general. So I don't know. My two younger brothers are going to be going back. Well, one of them just went back to Ohio State. He just moved back in. And then my other one is at UW in Washington State and in Seattle, but he doesn't start school for another month. So I don't know what it's gonna look like. He's already been had to double quarantine because of how many outbreaks were happening in Greektown.
To me, it's crazy that the colleges still will try to make their money. So they're getting their dorm money.
That's the thing. It's shitty.
They're getting their dorm money. They're getting their all their college class money, because it's just come to the dorm and do it online.
Well, that's the thing is that's what's shitty is they waited until, people got on campus or already paid full tuition to then be actually we're pulling it back and we're doing online classes.
If
and
you don't
things
think
that
that was a calculated move, then you're just
Oh, it
dumb.
was for sure a move. Yeah. It was for sure a move. That's for sure a move. They were making sure they were getting their tuition money to support. That's an issue. That's why our
You can only do it once, though. You think they'll be able to do it another semester?
What do you mean?
Take people's money again and then do it again? I think they can get 2 or 3 more times out of this. There's no way this is gonna end this year. They're gonna freeze it out with winter.
It would be great if it did. If we actually if our leadership actually did things to put stuff in place. But
I'm not holding my breath at least until after elections. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because right now there's just a whole bunch of things happening in the world. Just you can't really weed through it all. It's just so much politics stuff happening too.
Politics is every day, baby.
Yeah, but it affects it's affecting so many aspects of life. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's how it
I mean, it
always
does.
has been.
Yeah, I know, but like, I'm just saying, like directly, like, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. Like, it's really on like who we have like picking decisions moving forward. You know, I know like with Joe Biden, and you know, he was just talking about like mandated mask wearing and stuff for a while. So there's things that like, you know, one person will pick to do, and we'll see like around election time what happens. But yeah, so I guess this week in a main topic. Main topic. You know, I kind of wanted to talk about this. Something we talked about, you know, over the weekend, and just a generalized conversation. No specific stories, but
no specifics. A third party, completely unconnected to them
at all. But have you ever had someone go through your search history?
No.
Your browser history? You've never had someone go through your text history, your DMs? Have you never been like close enough to somebody where, or to the point where you guys hurt each other and you're still in a relationship where it's so toxic that you just can't leave your phone like unattended for like 5 minutes?
I've probably been more of the person that like has looked over somebody else's shoulder because I knew that they were
Tom Petty.
Because I knew that they were doing things that they shouldn't have been doing.
Oh, you knew.
I was right.
And yeah, because you know, if you go looking for something, you're gonna find something.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
You're gonna find something. I think that was an episode we actually have we talked about this before. Now we're just like recycling. Like,
I mean, yeah, but I feel like search history specifically, like. I don't think I've ever like really looked through someone's search history, nor like, I mean, I'm pretty good about my search history. Like, I don't really think, sometimes I feel like if people like were to pop up my search history, they'd be like, this bitch is like Googling ages of people a lot. It's like,
why?
I'm always like, how old is this person that I saw on TikTok? What does that do for
you? Does that put things in reference or something for you? Like, just knowing how old people are?
Well, like, and especially like different celebrities, like I want to be like, okay, like if I'm 26, like I think they're like 26. I'm like, when they're like doing this, I'm like, God damn.
People are always younger than I think they are. So, but
I'm usually.
Well, I mean, as far as like stars, like I feel like even when I was a kid, like looking at people like AC Slater on like Saved by the Bell, like he would look like an adult to me. He was playing the same age as me.
Well, that's the thing is like when I watch like these like corny like
it was a rerun though. It was a rerun, so I'm not that.
When
old.
I watch these like corny like high school movies or TV shows or like Riverdales and stuff like that, I'm always like, wait a second. Like for me, I just watched.
How do they have Denzel Washington playing like a high school kid right
I know, like I literally watched
That's just Will Smith.
This movie called The Kissing Booth, and I was like, there's a new like guy character. Like, oh, he's really hot. I'm like, am I a pedophile? And I looked up his age. He's 28, so I'm good.
Wow. Yeah. No. If you gotta Google it, he's too young for you.
That's not true.
All right. Well, I mean, so what did you find when you went snooping?
And I've never like, so when I've snooped, it was also like when my relationship was pretty much done. And it was just more of like, I saw text messages or dating app notifications popping up. So like, that was like, I didn't like snoop fully. I like snooped enough to see like who they were talking to then be like, okay, well, I see like that this person's name is in there as like whoever Tinder or like whatever. And I'm like, that's good for me to know. And then whatever. But
so you're looking at contacts or you're talking about
I was looking just like as like if you like
look at the text and see who it is.
The text messages, like, you know,
in
all the messages in a row. But like, I mean, I feel like I would never like I've never been one to like not trust someone, but it's like if you're doing something that like is shady, then I'm not going to trust you, and then I'm going to like find the receipts, you know what I mean? Like I think that's why like it comes down to it's like what, you know, when are you going to look through someone's search history is, and then usually, and why we brought this up is because like something happened to someone that prompted them to look through the search history, especially because like sometimes it's like if someone's already like restricting and manipulating you and is already like going through your shit, then you're gonna be like, why are they going through my shit? They must be guilty of something.
Yeah, no, I'm just getting like scary like flashbacks of things like, like it's
You
not
look
all
like you
there
have
and I don't remember
PTSD
everything
from
correctly,
it.
but I've definitely like when you're young and immature and in toxic relationships, this is the type of stuff that happens. It's not good. Like, I got to the point where first of all, like you always get kind of like jealous, but not like jealousy to the point where you're like you don't trust somebody is completely unhealthy. Like at which point you feel like you got to pick up someone's phone and look at it. You know, when I used to do bad things,
Mm.
um, I was on a trip and I'd been to this
Okay.
place before, and so I had friends, and there was like a girl, but I was also on this trip with like then girlfriend, and I was texting with this girl that like was my friend, but like I was hiding it,
Friend,
like
wink, 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 wink.
yeah, but I was hiding it, and I was trying to be all sneaky and stuff, and the next day, she went through my phone, and like I was like got to the point where I was like, I don't think you should be going through my phone. Like I got mad at her. I flipped it on her.
Of
And
course.
that was
That's the
like
thing.
yeah, that was like, but from then on I was like like the stress of all that was ridiculous first of all. Like
Yes.
I didn't want anyone ever going through my phone. I mean, even though I was doing something wrong, I still felt violated that she went through my shit. I don't know if it was a combination of getting caught, but like I also felt like, but hold on to that point for a second. I'll come
Okay.
back to it. So I just started like trying to get to the point where I'm not going to be in relationships that I feel like I have to like this is like so dark that I'm like going through a phone. If you feel like your girl is doing this fucked up shit to you, you shouldn't be with this person. Like, you know what I'm
No,
saying? Like,
exactly.
if you think there's reasons and your only proof is to go through someone's phone, like if you already have doubts, like if she's like coming home late or she's like being weirdly like vague about things and stuff, like those are all reasons, I guess, to,
Yeah.
but like at which point, like that's where the communication comes in. You have to like be able to talk to these people. I'm not preaching. Like I'm talking the way it should go down. Not saying everyone can
Yeah.
always do this perfectly, but
Of course.
you have communication, like you set, your boundaries, you set like whatever, and the person kind of comes back and says like, I'm not cool with this or I'm cool with this or not. Like, but you can't really control what a person does. So that's what I think like I'm searching for in a partner, someone that like I don't have to like worry. Like if she's like hanging out with my friends and stuff, like I don't have to worry that she's gonna like hook up with one of my friends or like the next hot guy that shows up at like a party
Yeah.
or
I
something
mean,
like
like,
that.
I think about what our Stu Point Oh episode that we talked about and like that whole situation. Like, that's crazy. Like, you would never want um anything to happen where you're
We
like,
gotta get Stu Point oh back on here and talk about this because I mean he's living in
yeah.
Atlanta now. Actually, I gotta hang out with him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we gotta link up with him. But regardless, so back to my point of what was the point I wanted to come back to? Oh,
Uh, yeah.
well, what was it?
Oh, I thought you were ready to do
No,
it.
yeah,
I thought you
we
had it.
both remembered and forgot. But I wanted to say, like, also, you know, going through someone's phone, is that something that, like, all right, so you get in a, like the relationships where people don't care, like, about their phones. They're just like, hey, can I use your phone? They're
Yeah.
like, yeah, here. They just throw their
Yeah.
phone, no
Yeah.
password.
Yeah, that's usually like, yeah, I've been in those
So
before.
as the
And
same
then,
point of, like, wanting privacy, like, where's the line between, like, wanting privacy and, like, letting someone also, like, be able to pick up your phone and be like, you know, like, does that give them the permission to look through your history because you are, like, open with them and, like, give them the phone? Like, I don't know.
I feel like, so like, let's
And
say,
should
like,
we have our
I'm
own
gonna,
privacy when it comes to our phone? Because there's a whole nother
I think,
topic I want to talk about.
I feel like we should. I think we should have, like, privacy to some degree because, like, it is still, like, your phone holds, like, a lot of different, like, personal information or whatever. And it's like, honestly, like, I think it depends on like what time, like what part of the relationship you're in. Like, I feel like if you're early on in a relationship, like somebody doesn't know everything about you yet, and like that's okay. Like maybe you're like waiting to like tell them more things or whatever and stuff like that, and they also don't need to have like full access to all of you yet. And I think that's like similar to what you were saying before. I think that's like a whole boundaries thing. I think as relationships build and you are in like a place where like you are sharing more with each other and different things along those lines, I think, you know, if someone's asking to be like, oh, let me see your phone to like type in this address or whatever to pick a song or whatever, I would hope that you would have trust in them and that you would have trust in each other, that you wouldn't even have to like look through like photos or text messages or Snapchats or DMs to be like, all right. I feel like that's like where the trust and the communication and that build up comes in, because it's like, I think it can vary, because I've definitely been
when you get married though, does that go out the window? Like you have the right to go through people's stuff?
I don't know if it's like a right, like I don't know how to, because I would still think like obviously you're probably sharing more. I don't know what else like you could really be withholding. I would hope that what you would be withholding, like you wouldn't want them to go through your phone if you're like planning a surprise party for them, right, or something like that. Like, you know, like, so I think you still deserve your own privacy, because like, or maybe you're like talking to a friend or whatever about some feelings about a situation that you don't want them to be privy to or whatever. And I think that's
I want to kind of also talk about like not cheating or being like, you know, what about, or some might consider this cheating, but what about like, you know, it's 2020. A lot of people watch porn these days. I hear a lot about these stories.
Just in 2020, we've gotten to the point where now people watch porn.
We're in the present, and you know, people are looking at porn now. Mom, this is the point where you might want to like speed up the talking or fast forward a little bit, but you know. When it comes to porn, like, or what you like sexually, like people like are on some other stuff now, you know? So a lot of times, like I've heard a lot of stories of people like getting their search history like looked at and stuff. And then it's like, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, okay, my thing is like, if you don't want that kind of stuff to be found, be better about clearing out your search history. I don't know what to tell you.
So you clear your search history? Yeah,
I clear my search history just in general.
Okay, so yeah. So that's the tip we're giving people: clear your search history.
Well, like, I mean, I like to clear my search history just in general because, like,
do you think that's I mean, do you think like that should be like what you looked at, like as far as like porn should be looked at as you as like being like, oh my god, like that's you like that? Like
I don't know, because like I feel like sexual fantasies or desires and things like that, and like how you, I mean, in porn in general, it's just really unrealistic and fantastical in some ways that like I don't really think it could be a pure always. I think, you know, I think there has to be other factors potentially. I don't think just like you're pure like, oh, she looked up this or he looked up that or whatever, like that makes them a good or bad person, or that makes them like somebody that I don't want to be with or someone I do. And like maybe it is a factor, like maybe something that they look up, or like you're like, it would become I would think it would become a discussion to be like, I found this, like, is this what you like? Like if it's something that you don't like, or if it's something that makes you uncomfortable, you have to be like, that's not what I'm going to do. Is that a problem? Things like that, because I think that's like where it becomes into like, I'm very into like, you know, talking with a sexual partner about your preferences, your things and wants, and like your different boundaries and things along those lines, because you don't want to be neither of you want to be put in a position where somebody's going to feel uncomfortable or like, you know, things get blurry or anything like that. So I think when it comes to that kind of stuff, I think it could be compounded with other factors that could be a turnoff potentially, if not discussed or carried about the right way.
That was very, very in depth, like as far as like I think that's a very clear thought on that, because I do think like, you know, I don't know, some girls would just like, or maybe even some guys, like I don't know, I've never been like a guy that's like, I mean, I've heard about it, like a guy that gets mad at a girl for like watching porn. Is like, why do you gotta watch porn? Or even just having like a dildo or
Well, or like
something, or
I've
a
heard of
vibrator
like
or
girls
something.
who get. I feel like I usually have heard of girls who get more upset at how much their like either boyfriend, husband, or whatever watches porn, which I think speaks to a larger issue because I feel like most of that might be is like the amount of consumption as opposed to exactly what they're watching.
I also
Where
think
like
like I don't know, like the science of it, like like, you know, somebody might look at your search history and be like, oh my god, look at all the videos like they're looking at, like there's like 100 of them, like, you know what I'm saying? But you don't know, like, I don't know, maybe you do, but like you're just going through them fast, like you you know, you're not like watching like the whole like hour long thing. So like I feel like it looks a lot worse
you
than it
might be
actually.
watching a couple seconds at a time. It might
Right,
just
and
be
you
like
know,
porn
and it's
roulette.
like YouTube sometimes where like you just get down these rabbit holes, like where it's like, how did I get here? Like, you know, the rabbit hole. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? But it can be like very misleading. So and they'll be like, well, you're cheating on me, like, you know, like what am I not like good enough for anything? So those are like things I've heard of, like people checking, you know, histories or like going through people's phone. I just like, my bottom line is, if you feel like you have to look through someone's phone, if you get like the inkling, like it's a new age, so we are trying to figure out what is right in a relationship. Like, you know, the phone is
Yeah.
like a new introduction into like the last like 15, 20 years like of our lives. um you know, so what is, if you feel like you have to look at someone's phone, there's a deeper issue. Like, you know, if you can't communicate with your partner and you're feeling these things, like there's a deeper issue, like, you know. And
I
sometimes
agree.
there's things that can't be fixed through just conversations. Maybe that person is not the one for you. um you know, those are things, or you guys might have hurt each other enough where it's just like, it's this is, you've gotten to a point of unhealthy behavior. You know, I've been in a relationship, like my like ex girlfriend, like, you know, we were just like young when we started dating, and we were dumb and you know, young, you know the saying, young dumb, and
Yeah.
and the rest of it. But you know, but you know, we just like, we're just dumb, like, you know, when you're, and I wish I was a better person, I wish I was better in relationships when I was younger, but like that led us to hurting each other back and forth to the point where we both didn't trust each other. And you just kind of like get to a point, like now, you know, in the future, we've been able to talk about our relationship in the past and stuff and be like, that was unhealthy. Like, you know, like, it's funny,
Yeah.
like, you know, how serious things are in the moment. Like all those things were like, you what? But like years later, when you've all moved on and stuff, and you can talk about like, you know, each other cheating on each other and stuff like that. It's like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that either. And you're not like mad. You're just like, you kind of explain like, why did I do that? Like, I did that because like of this, you know, we were so distant. Like I did this wrong. I didn't, you know, whatever it is. But, you know, those are things I never want to go back to. And I think it all like really like starts with like how you start a relationship and the things you do inside of it. You know, you can't make you can't make types of mistakes that like are kind of hard to come back from. People, it's hard for people to forgive you for things sometimes, and sometimes people just stay with people because it's like they're used to them or it's comfortable, but like it's unhealthy. So so yeah, I recommend, you know, if you're looking to grab that person's phone, you know, it's not worth it. Like it's, I don't know. Like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it to look through the person's phone and find out the stuff? Or is it worth it to, like, be like, look, there's something not working here. Maybe I should just walk away before even knowing any of that stuff.
I think I'm more about like I think you should like have the conversation and then if like dependent how that conversation goes.
But
Like
just think
I
about it.
mean
Like, if you were like, there's two scenarios here. You could either pick up the guy's phone. You already know, like, you feel like there's something there. Or you have a conversation with him and he, like, admits, like, you know, he doesn't admit to, like, bad things that you would have found on his phone, but it still ends up with you guys separating. Would you have rather scenario one or scenario two? Checking the phone or parting ways without knowing.
I would rather the second, like, I'd rather the discussion and at least like giving them the option to like fess up or whatever. And then I know who I am, and I would probably try to snoop in some way, potentially, if I really still was feeling bad. I think it really depends on, like, if I was still feeling bad and then they were like threw it under the rug and we were trying to continue on, then I would probably like maybe, because I love receipts, I would maybe snoop to just be like, okay, I'm right, and I like now I can like feel shitty about being right, but now I know I'm right, and then like leave the situation.
I think it always goes back to like you're gonna find something. Like, if you're already at the point where you're going to pick up something looking like, I have a feeling there's something there, there's probably going to be something there that you're going to, like, get mad about regardless, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes those things are not even worth being mad about just because you know. Like, ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yeah, true. But I feel like ignorance isn't bliss if, like, then it's going to continue you in a relationship that's not going to be a good situation.
Well, yeah, I learned that probably I'm gonna delete my search history after this show. Well, do we have any you have any final thoughts on that, or any Bachelor updates?
Any final thoughts on that? I just think it's like, you know, I think we've brought it up in so many episodes and we've said stuff before, but I think so much can be solved by open and honest communication, and I feel like once that can't be reached, like, I think that should be your sign, you know?
Word. Yeah, no, solid advice, V. I'm gonna lock that one up in here. And I can listen to this episode forever too.
Hey,
what do we got?
So can you, listeners.
yeah, we're talking to you. You're listening in our world. But what do we got for some Bachelor updates?
So, JoJo, one of my favorite bachelorettes, she will be filling in for Chris Harrison for a few episodes for this upcoming season, which is, you know, currently in production, because he will be taking time. He has to quarantine he's taking his son, Joshua, for any of the fans who have been watching Bachelor Greatest of All Time, brings up he's like, I'm here with my son Joshua every single time. So he had to bring his son Josh to college, so he'll have to have a full quarantine period before he can be back on the show, you know, test negative, all that jazz. So JoJo will be taking over as hosting for a couple of those episodes.
It's gonna be a weird season.
Interesting pick with JoJo. We would always think it would be like someone like Wells, but I guess maybe Wells wasn't available for the job.
Yeah, I think if I'm going to put my producer hat on real quick, it's just like JoJo, even in the episode on Listen to Your Heart, where she was like the host, like Jordan Rogers didn't talk like once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like she kind of like holds and she can talk. The person that like needs to be like, I think the incredible skill that Chris Harrison has is like his ability to maintain like this stature inside of such a crazy little like vacuum, you know, like it's so insane, like the way people are acting around him, but like for some reason, like he still like has some sense of like commonality, like with like, but it's like, why is this normal person like, you know, interacting? That's why it's like kind of like he'll just pop in and out, get him out of there before.
Yeah, he'll pop in. He's like, and
he
this is the final rose.
Yeah, like, before he says something stupid. Rose,
everyone. We're like, oh, Chris, you're back.
Yeah. So, you know, maybe, and I'm sure they tested a couple people. Like, this is all stuff that they have to be thinking about. Like Chris, it's like
they have to. Well, like,
it's
I mean,
like
some
if you
of them
are doing a job and you go on
they...
vacation, they need to have a backup for you. Like that's
exactly. I'm sure they had a test. JoJo, I mean, her and Jordan had a brief stint with their like little flip reality TV
so
show.
they host shows. They've already hosted a show before.
Yeah, and like Jordan's done like stuff for SEC Network and different like sports stuff. So, you know, they have like some background, and I'm sure because it's a Bachelorette season, they decided to bring JoJo in to just kind of be like, all right, you know, I level with Claire.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, I was expecting to see a lot more rumors and stuff floating around because how weird the season is this season. But
It is. I feel like people still like don't know like why was Hannah Ann there. People still like aren't,
I mean,
and they
that I
just keep.
believe it's just because she was friends. Like they're, they always bring in the friends when like a bachelorette comes in. So they brought in Taisha, and I don't know if they're like friends or not, but I'm guessing that's kind of the situation where she came in to like give advice or, oh, this is crazy, girl, like or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, why don't we get into our slapper of the week?
Let's do it.
This week, we spoke about Miley earlier, being on Call Her Daddy, and Miley has a lot of good people and behind her as far as when it comes to music, because she drops good songs, and this one specifically gives me a very old school vibe. It's like very much the type of music I'm listening to right now, as far as like music production goes, even the stuff I'm trying to make. So when it came out, I was like, damn, this gave me kind of like Joan Jett vibes type
Yeah.
stuff, like that type of music.
What she said was that she wanted to make a song that sounded like songs that she's covered. We've all known her to cover Jolene. She's covered like a couple of other kind of like songs of like the more like 80s, 90s ish era. And so she really wanted it to sound like that vibe, but she's like, but I wanted to make it my own and about my own experiences. So like very actively talks about like her / her love life, and she like identifies as being like bisexual or pansexual, and so like it definitely carries those themes throughout some of the lyrics and the gender pronoun switch up and things like that. So it's a cool song because she definitely did grab from like kind of those retro vibes.
For sure. And I'm looking at the cover right now on Spotify, and it looks like very retro. So good for her. Yeah, I'm excited to see. Is she coming out with an album? Did they announce an album?
I think she hasn't announced it, I don't think, but she was saying that she is working on more music, so I'm guessing.
Dope. Well, I'm here for it. So I guess without further ado, why don't we get into our slapper of the week? This week, it's Midnight Sky by Miley Cyrus. Let's go.
Slapper of the week.
This song slaps.
Slapper! Yeah! Slapper of the week, Midnight Sky by Miley Cyrus. Don't need to be loved by you.
By you. I love this song so much. When I first heard it, I like both felt the need to dance and also cry. It was like a weird emotional release for me. I was like, wow, Miley fucking gets it. And it's a fucking bop. It's just a bop.
I think it's like, I think it's just a song that everyone can relate to. Like, a lot of different types of people. And that's a recipe for a good song. So, well, V, what do you got for shout outs this week?
I wanted to shout out. I have some belated birthday shout outs for compadre Melissa. She's on episode 69.
Melissa!
And then also for my friend Rosevic. It was her birthday. I took care of her cat this weekend.
Rosevic!
And then I wanted to shout out my friend Ian. It's our friend anniversary. We call it National V and Ian Day. He's like my brother from another mother, so that's my guy. And then I wanted to obviously shout out my friend Amanda for, her new job in Nashville and also for her engagement. So congrats.
Shout out to you guys. I just wanted to give a quick birthday shout out to my bro Adam Parker, man. Happy birthday. You were the shit. Hope to party with you soon. Yeah, man. Yo, I've been making some pretty good music with Kyle over here. I'm like looking forward to. Yeah, we're I'm starting to just kind of, my biggest thing right now when it comes to making music, I get in my head about writing. I get kind of stuck in one lane of thinking or writing. Like, you kind of get, this is how I write songs. And sometimes songs can end up sounding the same, or like you just recycle like same ideas, or it's hard, So I've my neighbor Kyle, like he's into music and stuff. We were talking about him last week. He helped me with the video, but he's also really good at music. So, he writes poetry and stuff, and I've been like working with him. He pretty much wrote our whole next song that we did.
Ooh, exciting.
I do the melodies and stuff. He's good at melodies too, but so we got a really fun song that we made, and we're gonna shoot a video for it soon. So in the next week or two, there should be a new video from me and Kyle. Something fun, something new. So keep on the lookout for that. But that's what I've been doing.
The Yesterday Collective.
Yeah, I mean it's yesterday, so we heard it yesterday. What do you got going on this weekend? You got any plans? Anything fun?
I'm actually, because boat plans got postponed last weekend, so I'm actually supposed to go on a boat this weekend.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Besides that, contemplating life.
Yeah, no, I want to do something, but most likely we'll just work on music. I don't know. I'm inspired by the new Miley. I might make something like noon grass or something like that. I'll call it
noon grass, midnight sky, noon grass.
I don't know, but yeah. So I hope you guys are finding some joy in life. Trying to get back out there and
any
doing
at all.
things. Yeah.
Keep sucking in that serotonin, folks. Pass it on if you can.
Exactly. I want to let our listeners know too. We're trying to up our YouTube stuff. We've updated our look on thumbnails, the way we're titling, the way we're editing them and stuff, and we're also doing weekly clips about these conversations. So you start seeing that. Check us out on YouTube. If you ever want to watch us do these episodes, and I'm getting really good about getting them up there fast. So these episodes drop every week on Thursday on the podcast, and I'm trying to get the YouTubes up there by Friday. So sometimes if you just have us on in the background, you want to wake up on a Saturday morning and watch us, I hope to be there. Or if you just want to catch some hot topics, we're trying to pull out hot topics from our episodes, whether they be fun or current events or something. We're gonna get into that a little bit more, so check us out there, and make sure you follow us on Instagram, because Veronica does such a great job with the social media aspect of our
I
company.
do what I can.
So V, any parting words for our listeners?
Go and delete your search history, folks. Clear your caches, clear your cookies.
What does Veronica have on her search history? What kind of things is she looking at?
Wait, I'm literally gonna look. Let's see. I'm gonna look.
What's the last thing you looked?
Let's see. What is the last thing? Let me look up my Google. Let me look up my history. Let's see.
Just the last good thing.
I'm trying to look. I'm trying to find it.
I just need to know. Well,
I know you need to know.
I'm wondering actually here. My last thing was the kids.
The last thing. Well, I mean, besides Liam, let's see. What else did I look up? I looked up a workout.
Okay. Well, nothing to break up with you about, so we're good for
thank
now.
God.
We're good for now. All right, guys. Well, with that note, I'm gonna let Veronica get to her workout. I'm gonna let you guys back to your day or your night. You know how it is, man. We'll see you next week at 127.
It was actually a workout.
Yeah, that's how numbers work out. So
you're making it sound weird now.
All right, guys, we gotta get out of here. All right, guys. We love you. This has been Future Bachelor. My name is Cy.
I'm Veronica.
And you know what it is. Deuces!
Bye!